I expected to have some difficult conversations with family members and friends, and I have. I expected to have tons more sex with tons more people, and I have. But coming out has also affected me in many ways I didn't expect, and almost entirely for the good. And that's what I want to focus on for the rest of my time today. And what, if there's a message beyond some personal exegesis in this, this is what I think it is. The thing that changed is that I found a new family. I initially thought of saying community. Some people in the audience will recognize this photo. I initially thought of saying community, but family is more correct. It seems weird to say that joining a minority has given me a greater sense of family than I had before. But it's definitely true. Just think about it. In every major city in the developed world, there'll be at least one gay bar where I can go to be around people who, in one important respect, are like me. I don't mean just that they are also members of a sexual minority, although that's true. I mean that the people there are brought together by a common bond, a common experience of oppression, of having at some point to come out, to assert their identity in the face of prejudice. And this sense of family is rarely stronger than when I sing with the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. And I'm so happy that 2 people from the chorus came to see this talk today. It really, thank you for coming. The chorus, with its mission to create musical experiences to inspire change, build community, and celebrate difference, brings together 2 of my very favorite things: choral singing and gay men. And it has provided me here in Boston with nothing less than a second family. Every time I sing with them, I feel such pride and strength, and it feels totally appropriate to call my fellow chorus members my brothers. Although while I was living in the closet and thought of myself as straight, I was surrounded by straight people all the time. I never felt part of a straight family, but I do feel part of a queer one. And that family has provided me with a sense of belonging and solidarity that I never felt before. The second thing that coming out has given me is a culture. Because, yeah, that's a cool photo. I want a free t-shirt for that photo. I feel like I'm a gay superhero in that photo. I love it. Just as there's a queer community, a queer family, there is a queer culture. A set of roles and practices and artworks and narratives crafted by people whose sexual and gender identities don't match the mainstream. And now I can be a part of that. And I don't just mean the obvious stuff, queer as folk and drag queens and pride marches and voguing, although all that stuff is awesome. Particularly queer as folk. I'm so addicted to it right now. But I mean the vision of a liberated culture which queer activists at their best have promoted. Peter Tatchell, a veteran human rights campaigner and a gay man, once wrote this about the Gay Liberation Front, a group of early gay activist organizations. He wrote, "Despite our differences, we shared a radical idealism, a dream of what the world could and should be, free from not just homophobia, but the whole sex shame culture, which oppressed straights as much as LGBTs. We were sexual liberationists and social revolutionaries, out to turn the world upside down. The Gay Liberation Front's strategy for queer emancipation was to change society's values and norms rather than to adapt to them. We sought a cultural revolution to overturn centuries of male heterosexual domination and thereby free both queers and women. Our agenda has been partly won." Queer culture is, at its best, an emancipatory culture which demands freedom from traditional strictures and hierarchies in the name of love and sexual expression. And to be part of a culture which dares attack some of the most foundational power structures in society, straight supremacy and heterosexism and patriarchy and rigid gender norms, that's a huge privilege. And for an activist like me, it is a great thrill. Finally, this is where it might get dodgy for some of you, but this is the only way I can think of to talk about this. My coming out has led me to discover a profound new source of what I can only call spirituality. Now, I know that's a difficult term for many people here. I promise I'm not going all wooey on you. All I mean, this is a picture of me with amazing artwork that I got from a San Francisco activist about Harvey Milk, and I love it. It's in my living room. All I mean is that accepting my gay identity has enabled me to connect more powerfully and more deeply with other people and with the most important questions in life than I was able to before. One way that this expresses itself, and this is surprising and weird even to me, even after being out for like 4 years almost to the day, is that this comes out in hooking up. This sense of spiritual connectedness with other people comes out for me in the random, often anonymous sexual encounters that you sometimes have with other men. And in case you don't believe me, I have a quote, because I love this quote. This is one of the most beautiful books ever written about queer culture. It's The Culture of Desire by Frank Browning. And he writes the following about the connection that queer culture enables people to have with other people. Hardly any of my colleagues over the years could quite have imagined that sort of encounter. A mixture of trash and grace, wantonness and repartee, foolhardy risk and thorough trust that could come of two strangers wandering into each other late at night in a shadowy city alley. But that chanciness is part of the lasting magic of gay life, a sort of radical plot twist that characterizes queer life and sets aside so many conventions of social judgment, class, race, and attitude, supplanting them with a direct and naive faith that bonds of great value can be forged on nothing more than instinct. Not that such bonds always occur. More often than not, these brief encounters are merely tiring and banal. I can say that is true of experience. But there is a genuine spiritual affirmation in discovering how often magic can arise between strangers. Magic that in most of our waking moments we train ourselves not to see. The love of strangers, or the love of loving strangers, teaches us that one man can touch the soul of another before he knows the size of his companion's shoes or paycheck. From the fragmentary details one man shares with his stranger friend, the private glades of a morning stroll, the suppressed angers of a family feud, from these random glimpses of identity, a window can open between the souls of unconnected people, a window framed only by intuitive readiness and undimmed by a lifetime's accumulative judgments. Led on by nothing more than the broken line of a shoulder's scar or the wrinkle of a closed eyelid, strangers reveal themselves in confessions that more careful lovers may take years to express. Yeah, wow, he's a really good writer. And it's so true. The sorts of deep connections I've been able to build with people whose names I did not know and who I would never see again have given me a profound, do I want to say the word faith? Profound belief in the ability of people to connect with each other in our most vulnerable moments. And that has been spiritually affirming. Another illustration of this spiritual connection with the queer community that the queer community has given me is less ecstatic, more profound. Once, while I was in Denver for a huge meeting of gay and lesbian choruses from all over the world, I had the opportunity to travel with the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus to Laramie, Wyoming, where Matthew Shepard was murdered. Shepard's brutal torture and murder spurred worldwide outrage, and in 2009, President Obama signed into law the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, expanding the 1969 federal hate crime law to include crimes motivated by actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. And there's only one word which for me describes what it felt like to drive for hours in large packed buses, a strange electricity in the air, to the sight of such an atrocity. It was a pilgrimage. It was a journey to a place where something terrible had been done to someone like me because they were someone like me. As I sat in the audience watching the San Francisco chorus singing words from It Gets Better videos set to music by Stephen Schwartz, I had the sense that I was witnessing something almost religious, an exorcism of sorts, as my queer family used queer culture to raise and soothe the spirits of those in attendance. It was awesome in the full, unadulterated sense of that word. I felt connected, deeply connected to someone I had never met, would never meet, but somehow I felt I knew. Family, culture, spirituality. This is what coming out has given to me. And I was able to come out because of a community like this. It was on a humanist service trip where I found the courage to accept myself, because I was surrounded by humanist friends, people who I knew were not going to judge me or shame me or even tolerate me, but who would celebrate me. I can never give back what this community has given to me. And that's why, at the end of that exercise I told you about, at the beginning of my talk, I was proud to be left with one last fragment of my identity. I'm a humanist. That's what most describes my values, because it was humanists who enabled me to be gay. Now, not everyone is going to come out as gay, and that's all right. Nobody's perfect. But I do believe we all sometimes live inside a closet. There are things about ourselves we all find difficult to accept, things we are ashamed about but shouldn't be, things we hide from ourselves and from others. My hope for you is that you can find a way, like I did, to come out of those closets. And I hope that this, a community like this, might be the place where you can do it and find for yourself a family, a culture, and a new sense of the profound. At the Boston Gay Men's Chorus, we have a tradition. Every concert, for our new members, we sing a sort of theme song by Fred Small, a Unitarian minister, called Everything Possible. And I want to just end with a few words from that song. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There's no better humanist message than that. That's it. But before I'm finished, come to our concert, because it's going to be freaking amazing. It's on Saturday and Sunday next week. If you haven't got tickets, you can still get them. There's a discount code that I can give you. Thank you so much for bearing with me for that. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Greg.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being part of our community and taking all of that in. We are trying to think about our lives in a way that challenges us, that I want to challenge myself when I think about what kind of community I want, and James challenges me. So however you took that in and whatever it meant to you, thank you for being part of it, and we look forward to building on that with you. Sarah, am I doing the moment of connection?
Oh, I was supposed to do it. I forgot. Can we just consider it done? I don't have anything to say. I said everything I have to say.
Take a minute and introduce yourself to somebody that, in just a second, you'll take a minute, introduce yourself to somebody that you don't know or don't know well. And just react. I mean, you know, that we just had a powerful message, so we do this thing called Moment of Connection after our message of the week. And, you know, just share what you're thinking, because, you know, whether you're profoundly moved, unsure, curious, offended, anything, really. I mean, whatever your response, it's legitimate here. And so, you know, I just thought after that you might want to just meet somebody new. And then we'll be back with some more music and some announcements. Yeah, there you go. Cool, thank you. Just want to make a few announcements, and then we'll do some music, and then we'll hang around here. We've got the the Brita machines that one of our community members got us back there. Not Brita, the Keurig. Keurig machines back there, coffee, tea, whatever. We'll hang around.
Pastries.
People can go grab themselves food together. We're trying to build community here. So, invite friends for the future. We have a ton of stuff already going on in this space since we've opened it just a few weeks ago. First thing I will say is James not a great writer? And his ability to express himself and tell stories in a way that I can be profoundly affected by his personal story. So I'm very happy to say that James and I are working on my next book, our first book together right now. And as part of that, we have started to do a weekly podcast. Which I think we will both be traveling this week, so we may have to figure out a way to skip it this week, but we've already got up on the harvardhumanist.org website a few episodes of our podcast, which I'm really excited because as we write a book about communities like this and what we're hoping for from them and how we see them being developed around the world, I'm really excited that you and I get to have this ongoing dialogue. So if you want to hear more about that kind of thing, and we've talked about some of the issues that you brought up today already. So you just go to harvardhumanist.org, scroll down on our blog, and you can check out our podcast already. And there'll be plenty more of that coming out. I want to let you know how this organization exists or subsists or whatever. This is not cheap to put on. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're not funded by Harvard University. People see the name attached to Harvard, the name attached to us, and they see that we've got some nice stuff here, so it would be totally normal and reasonable for you to assume that all of this was somehow funded by John Harvard himself or his heirs and forebears, but it's not. I promise you, we get $0 and 0 cents reliably every single year from Harvard University. And so what we've done is we've created a nonprofit organization that supports humanist values, the kind of which we've been talking about today and the kinds of which we talk about every day, every week here. And we've asked people to support that organization to the very best of their ability. And so we have people, individuals who donate anywhere from a few dollars a year to a few tens of thousands of dollars a year. When we built this place just a few months ago, this room that you're all sitting in was 8 little rooms when we first moved in here, and so we had to renovate it. It cost almost $100,000 just to renovate the whole place and repaint and furnish and floor and whatever. And we're really proud of the fact that we just had tons of people who came out and said, I'm going to make a generous donation, whatever that means to me. You can do that on our website, harvardhumanist.org. You can talk to myself or any of our other staff members about it. We even have a little wicker basket. I don't know how we chose wicker, but we've got that for the time being. You can just drop something in there. Thanks for supporting us. Later this month, next week in this time, in this space, we've got Katie Heaney, author of Never Have I Ever, My Life So Far Without a Date. We've got a lot of romance themes for our talks this year. I think the idea of really forming connection and accepting that's not easy to do. So that'll be a fun talk. The 30th of March, really incredible one. Mike Rice, the 4-time Emmy Award-winning former head writer for The Simpsons. Have you heard of The Simpsons television show? It's a program some people have heard of. He's going to be fantastic. He's going to give his first ever talk on how he's a humanist and an atheist and how that has inspired his writing of The Simpsons and others. And we're very excited to have him. Tonight, our young professionals, young humanist, atheist, whatever group, people in their 20s and 30s are forming specifically community for that group, is going to be in here hosting a viewing of the 2nd episode of Cosmos. We had a big showing last week. It was really fun to check that out together. We've got lots of committees. The Secular Ritual Committee is on the first Monday of the month. The Young Adult Planning Committee, so planning for that event, is happening on the 2nd Wednesday. I do Chatting with the Chaplain first Thursday, so you can just talk with me and learn about what humanism is all about, what all of this is all about on Thursday afternoons. We have a book group. We have a myths course. So we have an educational course that we're doing that we just started, and that'll be going every week for the next 7 weeks. We've got a meditation group back there in the classroom that we're doing every Tuesday afternoon. Look, we have a ton of stuff, so I won't say much more about it, but thank you for being a part of it, and come and be more of a part of it. So that's it. We're gonna do some music to play us out, and thank you so much for your being a part of this community. We love having you.
That was really great. Really
thank you.
Awesome. We loved it.
And it's all true.
Yeah.
From Miami, FLA, hitchhiked away across USA, plucked her eyebrows on the way, shaved the legs and then used the sheet and said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. Alright. Everybody's darling, but she never lost her head. Even when she was giving it, she said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. Alright. Gave it away. Everybody had to pay and pay. A hustle here, a hustle there. New York City is the place where they said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. I said, hey Joe, take a walk on the wild side. The girls come on. Come on, boys!
we can play all day. You guys still be there, you know, mingle and whatever. We're just gonna be jamming out here. So.
Walking down south down the road, no. Caught a truck around a Philly, had a nice long tow. But he had